not a knee-jerk reaction. And really, the issue I have here tonight is with the process. We've had the original comprehensive plan. We've had the required updates. I think 2 or 3 of them. We're in the process of one right now. I don't think you people should be here tonight. I think you should be home watching TV or something where it's air conditioned. It's actually, we need to have people involved with this so that we're not going right and left and making these decisions that are going to affect us in ways we don't know. Comprehensive means all-encompassing, thinking about what's going on. I'm one of hundreds of volunteers who worked and gave up night after night after night of time putting together a comprehensive plan. It's really a slap in the face tonight of all those people in the past and the people on the plan review right now. This should be handed off to them. The town council shouldn't be looking at this one particular item. You're short-circuiting the process is really what you're doing. So I think you should vote to send this over to the Comprehensive Plan Review Committee and have them look at it, because otherwise you're going to be like the kid going down the street right and left. It opens the door for other projects to come through the same process. If we're looking at correcting a typo or something, you're the people to do it. But looking into the plan itself in the future, it should be done by a representative group of the town. So I think you need to reject this, hand it down to the study group, let them work on it, and I think we'll get a much better product, and I think we'll have a much better plan going forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ted Sangus, and he's our final speaker.
Hello.
Hello.
I live at 1106 Main Road. I regret to say that I've only lived in Tiverton 19 years.
You're only 19.
That's the joke. So when I was in 5th grade Tiverton Middle School, the whole class got sent into a history room. We were given a slideshow of historic places around Tiverton, and this property, the Osborne Bennett District, was on there. More recently, I've taken to riding my bike around Tiverton, down to Weedamo Woods or the Bird Sanctuary, or just down Main Road to the Union Library and Four Corners. Any place you can see green grass and stone walls, the spirit of old Tiverton, rich cultural tradition that goes back centuries, because that's really what Tiverton is. And that is what this development and this amendment threatens. It would be a death blow to town character. It would be a disaster for traffic and property value, and it would be a commercial failure. Development of a retail space in this area is completely irresponsible. You've already heard the kinds of stores that are going to be here. There would not be anything that is not already in Fall River, which is a more commercial area, and those places are failing. There is not a bigger market here. Within a decade, the retail spaces in this development would be empty, it would be a husk, and they would be all that was left to remind us of what we lost. So, yes, I am against the Tiverton Glen mega development and the zoning and comp plan changes that would allow this project and potential future projects. I beg you to faithfully represent your constituents, please. And that is all I have to say.
Thank you. All right, Council, it's 11:09. I feel that we should recess this to... Well, what we're going to do... We will. We have to vote in front of us, and I'm going to explain it if you really do allow me to. Okay? This is what I have to do. I'm going to close the public hearing as of right now. And we have to vote in front of you. We cannot vote in executive session. So... I suggest to the council we do have a July 20th meeting. Am I correct, Nancy, that spot? Yeah. We have a July 20th opening that we booked here in case that we needed to recess. I personally think that we need to digest some of what we heard tonight. We need to look at the amendments, as Rob said, that was presented to Nancy. And I just think the late hour, I believe that the town council needs to have some discussion in public. And I think half the room, more than half the room, left. So it would give the opportunity for other people to return next week or 2 weeks from now and listen to our discussion. Does anyone agree or disagree?
Madam President, I would respectfully request that we continue the public hearing, leaving it open and not closing it, so that anybody who had additional comment, or if we had questions in future at that meeting, they could be addressed at that time. I see no virtue to closing the public hearing and only allowing our own deliberations.
Is that a motion?
I will so make that a motion.
Second.
So I have a motion and second to continue
To
the
continue the public hearing, is there a date specific that this council?
It would be July 20th, and that's when we
July
reserved the
20th.
auditorium.
So I move that we continue the public hearing on
To July.
Town of Tiverton Comprehensive Community Plan proposed amendments with planning board recommendations requested by Carpianato Group LLC to July 20th.
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion from the council?
Just at this, it would be at this location.
Madam President, I have a, why can't we do it next week? Why wait 2 weeks?
Because we just, Dave, we had tried to get something next week, and it was not able to happen. A lot of you couldn't attend. We have a meeting on Monday. There was a reason we discussed this. Don't you remember? There was an elaborate discussion. And that was the date that all of us would be present.
Can we poll this now and see who will be available next Monday?
Well, we
I don't
have-
think it was our
well,
own
next
availability,
Monday
it was
is
the
the town
the
council
availability
meeting.
of the venue.
Excuse me?
I think it was also the availability of the venue. We
Right.
had to clear the space with the high school.
Well, I don't know if no, I don't think that's true, Brett. I don't know if we checked on next week.
Well, I know we didn't check on next week.
Well, right, but that's not the reason why we went for 2 weeks. But we could go through the availability. We have a meeting on the 13th.
You advertised it as July 20th if another meeting was needed. That's in the paper.
We know that. We're deciding on a date.
The council is suggesting that we do it sooner. I would think that that would make you all happier, but maybe it wouldn't.
know what, let's hold off until 2
And we can always
weeks.
change that.
Hold
But
off
we
for
can
2
wait
weeks.
for 2 weeks, that's fine.
Let's hold off for 2 weeks.
Okay, fine. All right, go ahead.
President, you have a motion and you have a second.
Discussion.
I had a question.
Wait a minute, Joe, yes. There you go. No, you,
Okay.
not.
Okay. I wanted to speak against any continuation of the public hearing. How many people have we heard from tonight? 90-some, I believe?
I think it was 92, but
I think everybody has had an opportunity to address every possible issue, and I think that everybody would agree that we've heard repetition after repetition on a number of issues. That's fine. Part of my job is to listen, even if it sounds repetitious to me. But I hate to open this up to another 92 speakers or 100 speakers or whatever. Because the public hearing has to come to an end at some point. And I went to the planning board hearings. I've gone to this hearing. I've heard what the public has to say. At some point, it has to come to an end, and at some point, we have to take a vote. I see absolutely no reason at all to hear from another 90-plus speakers.
all right. All right, I'm not taking that from the audience right now. We are discussing our next meeting.
Those are my
There's no need
comments.
for this rudeness. Anyone else like to speak from the council?
I just had one question about, I tend to agree with Brett that we should continue the public hearing, but there has to be a time limit so that we can conduct our business, so we're not going into a third meeting. So if we are going to continue the public hearing, it should be new information only, and for only maybe, the first portion of the meeting, so that we have time to discuss the issues and come up, do our diligence. So it's, I would vote to extend the public hearing if limitations were put on the amount of time that we were gonna.
Well, I'm not quite sure I can do that. No.
Well, then I'll
well-
vote against extending the public hearing then.
Okay, so.
I mean,
mo-
I would have to modify the motion, which I don't think I'm
I don't think we can do it anyway.
entertained to do. No, I mean, frankly, first of all, it is our job, whether we like it or not, to hear from people at a public hearing. And if it takes 2 meetings, or 2.5 meetings, or 1.5 meetings, we're talking about a delta of half a meeting. And I think that we're not going to have the same amount of process we're having tonight. Tonight was the first meeting. I mean, I don't think we've ever had a hearing like this where we see 650 people the first night, and then the next night after everybody said everything, 650 more people decide to show up and want to talk. And if it becomes cumbersome and we do have a repetitive nature, we can address it at that time. But I think there's no virtue in limiting the amount of free speech people can throw at us, because it's our jobs to hear it.
What I have to suggest that if we do continue the public hearing, there were several people not here, and I have the papers, so those will be the first I start with. So if those people come back and they would like to speak, they did sign up earlier. So that's what I would do first, because those people do.
That's totally reasonable.
Is that reasonable? And so
Absolutely.
that's how I'll start it, and I did put notes, so I know who didn't appear.
And I mean, the 2 weeks, it gives us the opportunity for people
think it-
to, get the word out, tell their friends. So you left early, you'll have an opportunity to speak again in 2 weeks. It's fine.
And I think it also gives us the opportunity to look into some of your questions.
Absolutely.
And gives our planner time to research some of what was said here tonight. And I am going to have him speak also at the end. So,
I would also make the humble request that at that meeting, members of the planning board, representative members of the planning board, be available to answer questions.
I had asked that for this meeting, but I will try.
I mean, we didn't get to that point, but I'm
No,
saying
but
at
I will-
that meeting, it's more important.
Okay.
So,
All right, so motion's been made in second. All those in favor? Opposed? It was 5-2, opposed is Jay and Joe. Thank you all for coming.
motion to adjourn?
Go ahead.
Madam President, just really briefly, because I know from the audience we've heard the request for points of order throughout the course of the evening. I just need to address that from a parliamentarian procedure on Robert's rules. Points of order can only be made by members of the voting body. So the points of order can be called at any point in time by any member of the council. They cannot be called by myself. They cannot be called by the town clerk or the town manager, but only acting voting members. So I think for next time, as we clarify this and try and move this process forward, I just wanted to let everybody know that a point of order cannot be made from an individual in the public.
I'd like to entertain
Madam
a-
President, I thought you said we were going to have a little bit of discussion at the end of the meeting. I
Well,
had
it'd
some
be at-
things I'd like
No,
to
it'll be
say.
at the end of the next public.
Well, I
because the
think
pub-
some things need to be closed tonight, because I think some things were made,
Joe,
some
The
accusations
hearing
that were made
continued.
that I
Joe,
think
the
I
public
find highly
hearing-
offensive to begin with.
Hearing this
I'd like to
matter.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, then you can adjourn.
Motion's been made to adjourn and seconded. All those in favor? 6-1, thank